afternoon, Wednesday morning, early Thursday. I don't know where you are in the world, but let me know. Let me know what I'm thinking about you. Um, how you feeling? Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing good. So let's get into some creation today. Let's see what we got. Let's see if we can get this thing going. Oh yeah, we finally get it back. Okay, we're about ready to roll like Kid and Play. Hope everybody doing good today. I like this. It's about time this thing gonna come off right. Let's see if I can get this thing freestyling and kicking in the you. Now we're gonna be doing it though. Don't be tripping. What I got real quick. Tell me everything is good. Okay, good. Now let me get on out of here again. Let me set this Jimmy up real quick. I don't never know what's going on with technology. We got a lot to talk about. We are gonna be live. I'm gonna do this real quick. Was the yeah, I'm going in on that corny. Let me go ahead and set these joints up. Get everything set up. We'll add all this stuff up, so we're gonna be all good. So y'all can catch me. I gotta do this platform thing real quick. What's happening? How you doing? Thank you for coming through. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Got some people coming through, so keep on hitting it. Thank you very much. Glad to have you come on through. Appreciate you. Thank you for stopping on through. And tell me where you're coming from. Tell me where you're coming from today. How you doing? How you doing? Okay, so we are back now. In England. Okay. England. Okay. I've been on for a few years, so I hope so. I put the work in. Lord knows I do. I have a lot of videos, so I hope so. I put the work in. You know, if you put the work in, you see results. Yeah, that's what it takes. And so I do live streams. I do about 2 or 3 a week. Yeah, that's what it takes. Also, I have some people that are Facebook friends, and so if people follow through, I'm not hard to find, and I'm on across different platforms. What's your YouTube channel? Is it Archie Plays Fortnite? Is that your YouTube channel? Because if that's the name of your channel, I will shout that out. Okay, Archie Plays Fortnite. All right, cool. Archie Plays Fortnite. Okay, I'll check you out. What does your channel specialize in? I'm not gonna say that. I'll say hello to you, RIP, but I'm not gonna say about no. I don't call out no numbers. But I'll say thank you for coming through. Hello, how you doing? Thank you for coming through. Oh, okay, that's cool. And you're probably on TikTok too. Instagram. Thank you. I'll check your channel out too tonight. That's good. Glad to have you. Where you coming from today? It's a good day today too. It's a nice day out. Me too. What part? What part of England you in? What were you at, Archie, in the States? Where you from? Where you at? Ah, you gotta be British with a name like Fish Pie. LA, okay. La La Land, okay. Okay. There's a lot going on in LA right now. A lot going on. Hello, how you do? How you do? Thanks everybody that's coming through. Yeah. Thank you to the people who are taking part in this poll because I saw that mess and I thought you guys to be kidding. But then again, it's LeBron James, and if it could be ridiculous, he'll do it. If it's for shameless self promotion, he'll do it. And what we just need is another entertainer, athlete, or spokesperson for alcohol. That's just what we need. That's the ticket. Appreciate that. That's a true statement if there ever was truth. I don't do it without a higher calling. I let it be known. That's one of the reasons why I like to keep quality and respect because I don't. Well, thank you for stopping by, Archie. Appreciate you, APF. I will check your site out too, by the way. Thank you for coming through. Peace. I gotta see this part. Officer Tatum mess. What he do? Oh, what he did is he had this announcement like he was gonna announce something big, and some people thought he was gonna retire. All it is that he signed up with Hennessy. So it's a liquor endorsement. That's all it is. It wasn't deep. He made it like it was something significant. Yeah, he's such a clown, and he does so much. He trolls all the time. He don't want no one to forget him. That's why he won't retire, and that's why people are tired of him. His antics. He's the basketball version of Trump. He really can't help himself. He does everything. Don't forget about me. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. He's a shameless self promoter, but he's not the only one. Most of them are annoying. Michael Jordan was annoying too. There was too many commercials. I'm glad you're getting your bag, but it's the while you be doing hot dogs and underwear and batteries and hair care products and you ain't got no hair. I'm like, they just give you endorsement for anything. So yeah. So it was a big hype on Twitter and Instagram and typical. Yeah. But you can tell by the reactions, people are definitely got opinions about it because 83% are saying it was corny, which I would imagine. I do the poll, but what kind of survey? Tell me what kind of survey are you talking about? Because I want to know. I do these polls though. Mm. And I'm glad you came too. As you know, I won't be here tomorrow. I don't know about Friday. Well, I'll ask you. Well, what it pertains to what when you say like and don't like, do you got to tell me what you mean? Because that's kind of like kind of hard. Because I don't know where we're going with that. Oh, I ask you that all the time. Like you're my main one, so I'll tell it like this, and I will give Charlene her shout out. If you come on early and you want to talk, and I do have people who be watching, If you come on, I will pose the question of what you would like. I do that sometimes too. If I come on and people are just coming on and I'm filling out all the, linking up to where I'm at, uh, I do that. So by all means, I always welcome input. As a matter of fact, thanks to you, Charlene, I've used some of your suggestions as far as some questions and some things I've done for future topics. If people happen to be members and they get deep in and they donate and etc., they might be privy to seeing it quicker than the others. Because I got a lot of stuff I'll be working on. I really do put a lot of time into the channel, into a lot of stuff I do. And there's a lot of stuff that ain't came out yet that's gonna come out that I be working on. So I'm one of those kind of people. It's called having a vault. So you open it up, you'll see a lot of stuff. You'll be like, oh. And some people don't understand. Like I really put the work into it. And I cover a wide range of topics. Obviously there's certain things that we ain't gonna discuss because and I don't go into certain places because I don't talk like. But that's what's up though. So. But I work with what I got. And people who show up, they're going to always get first dibs to what I say because they're the ones that's with me. And no matter when you come in, you're always welcome. However, I don't forget the ones that are consistent. And as I've always told you too, best way to get me is if you're on Facebook or you have any social media contacts and you find me, you stay in touch with me. And that way we can talk about what you like to see on the show. Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyway, I hope somebody comes back and start talking now because it's getting quiet again. Um, Great question. And they both came out in the same year. What's happening? Thank you, RC. Appreciate it. Sentimental, Charlene, the Inkwell. Jason's lyric will probably get more critical acclaim, but the Inkwell for me. Great question too, cause how you know I like that movie? And I got a story for you too. I think Lawrence Tate was underrated in it. That movie came out after Minister Society, but I think it was underrated. And I like the Miles Davis references and the jazz. And then the black concept of it. I thought because the bougie, you know, uh, it hit. The Voodoo Woman reminded me of Erica Badu too. Nothing much. How you doing? How you doing? I like Jason's lyric, but Inkwell kind of spoke to me because you know what? Lawrence Tate's character reminded me of Michael Jackson if Michael Jackson was on the autistic spectrum because of the way his vibe was. But I liked it though. The Inkwell hit me. And Jada Pinkett Smith is just like her character was in. She was in both those movies. She did all the hood movies with all the leading men at the time. Mm. Hmm. I almost forgot about how big Jada was at Once Upon a Time. For hood movies, that is. Not. She had hood on lock. She had hood on lock. Yeah, that LeBron thing was embarrassing, and I thought, man, you got to be kidding me. But he wasn't kidding. He was very serious. Barcades and a blowout. Fat Larry's band was decent, But the Barcades, that was a bumper. Pre-show still goes hard right now. But thank you, Charlene. You gave me an idea. I'll use that for a future video. Now I don't see most neither one of those movies like in a minute, so but I like them though. All right, keep on hitting the poll up, hitting the likes up. Let's keep it going. It was horrible. What's happening, Calvin? How you doing? I'm gonna have to give it the focus on that one. What's happening, Calvin? Yeah, it's because it was a big hoopla. And I think I was watching Dreamsboro on Monday, and he was alluding to it, and I thought it was gonna be announced. And that's the announcement we was hoping for. That here's some turkey talking about some alcohol. A brother don't be doing it with no hockey. Don't get down with no hockey. I like the jerseys. I do kind of root for the Sabres, even though they ain't gonna do nothing. But no, I don't do hockey. I don't fake the funk about it either. But I respect them though. As far as what? What about these three? What's your question about them three? Oh, Sylvester Stallone in a blowout. I mean, the Rocky movies, the Rambo, he could do no wrong. He even did a movie with Dolly Parton. Schwarzenegger came on later, but he wasn't touching Stallone. Um, any given Sunday, believe it or not, I like Field of Dreams a lot, but any given Sunday is Cameron Diaz wasn't bad, and Al Pacino was actually restrained and cool, and Jamie Foxx was legit, and you had as much beef on and off the field. And I thought Field of Dreams was a great movie, but any given Sunday, uh, I'll be telling people don't come here trolling because you're gonna have to get your butt thrown out of here. And usually, it's funny you mention that too, because I would have probably have gone with when we talking sports movies, baseball is usually a no brainer. But any given Sunday was tight. I might use that for a future. I might use that for a future one. By default, Prince, and I'm gonna tell you why. I like the horn charts, but it reminds me a lot of Rick James, Hard to Get meets P Funk, and cut was catchy, but I like the long version. That's the only reason why I can tolerate it a bit more. It's funny how he used the fishbone in the sample, but I'm gonna tell you what dangerous. He jacked Cameo's Word Up drums. He jacked the drums from Cameo. But Teddy Riley, they didn't come up with a tough enough groove for a title cut. Could have had a little bit more pack, a little more punch with it. It had some juice, but it was lacking because it had the Cameo drums. Long time ago. And long time ago. I used to watch his movies. It doesn't really matter to me, Calvin, because I'm gonna tell you something. I liked a lot of artists in the '80s. I used to build that mindset because I can make a case for Luther Vandross, and I can make a case for Rick James in a part, and I can make a case. Springsteen had impact. Whitney Houston had impact. Janet Jackson had impact. Sade had impact. Tina Turner for so what I'm saying is I don't really care about that no more. Yeah, I don't really. Yep, Nita and Whitney, especially Whitney. You can't talk about the '80s and not talk about Whitney. You can't. She her voice, yeah, she came out strong. And you gotta give Lionel Richie his due. He dominated too. Lionel Richie got to be in that argument with Whitney too. George Michael got to be in that argument. Rick James, low key, got to be in that argument too because he had hits. He was big in the Mary Jane Girls and wrote for Eddie Murphy. I mean, don't forget. And don't forget about Babyface, songwriting, and then his solo career and all that with Bobby Brown. But Luther Vandross should definitely, he was popular and consistent. So I'm talking about, and yeah, Lauper for a moment, the U2, mm-hmm. Guns N' Roses, mm-hmm. I know what you're saying, but I'm not even thinking like that anymore. I used to, and I don't really want because it was so much. There were parts of the '80s where there were acts that were dominant, and then there were parts where you know, yep, Diana Ross for me. Remember, she did "Lady Sings the Blues." Beyonce ain't never came up with nothing that seen no "Lady Sings the Blues." Oh yeah, Duran Duran is like the most disrespected Brit pop because everybody that saw them as pretty boys, but them cats actually had a long run. The Police, let me not forget the Police, because that was my favorite band of right, from England in the '80s with that and the rock band. They was tight, and then don't forget about Phil Collins. He was huge back then. Depeche Mode was cool. I wouldn't say they ruled though, but they was cool because I Cars had moments. I'd say Tears for Fears. And we're going by who had a run. The Cars had a run. There's a few. Yeah, I love the Police. I do. In excess, but that was a window. I like Michael Hutchison, but that was a window. It was tight for a window. I like a couple of Michael Cooper solo stuff, not much big. And me and I'll be sure everything is pretty much on his first album that I like the best. Pieces after that. But after he did the Secret Garden, he secured himself as being legit for me. Yeah, the Clash were big. I don't think they were underappreciated. I just think that, I think because they were grooving from cats from Australia, but I don't think they were underappreciated. I don't think because Michael Hutchison didn't have no solo career. That's You get appreciated if you can take your behind solo. I like the first album. The second album, where he did that one with Donald and Misunderstanding, it was decent. I like his first album was the best one. Yeah, Mike Cooper wasn't meant to be no solo artist. He did that duet with Baby Doll. Remember, he did that one with Kylie Minogue. She used to be involved with Michael Hutchison. Most people did for a while because they had that groove thing. You know, New Sensation. They came out kind of funk. They were kind of funky for a moment, and I remember they had some fans because I had a girl in one of my classrooms with shoes on them. You know what? What never gets talked about with Melvin Riley, he should have had a Keith Sweat career. It would have been interesting if he had worked with Teddy Riley and he came out the same time with Keith Sweat because they both sung through their nose and moan and crawl. I'm gonna take Drive by the Cars. It kind of hit me a little bit more. Just a little bit more. They did. They go. That's how he sung. There was nasal singing. And you had cats that was trying to sound like Michael Jackson. You remember Ralph Tresvant, like, "Mm," and they said back around the way we used to say nasal singing. Most of the cats were trying to sound like Michael. They sing through their nose, and then you had the ones like Johnny Gill trying to sound like Teddy Pendergrass, like you go. They had that. They had that hoarse voice, so you were going one way up. That's because he's trying to get himself tanked up. That's what's up. As far as what? Well, you for real, Charlene? Come on, that ain't no question. That's not a question. Don't. That's not a question. Teddy Riley tear their butt up. He was everything Rodney never be. I thought his last purchase was that Stevie Wonder record at that place in Minneapolis because they said one of the last things was he was listening to Talking Book. That's what I heard on the bicycle track that Saturday. You can quote me if I'm wrong, but that's what I heard. I heard it was Stevie Wonder. Heard it was the Talking Book record because I saw the picture of him on the bike. He don't want to be forgotten. Well, he had Tony Basil, that Basil, the lead singer, was signed to Paisley, and they were messing around briefly. So, if he did buy it, that's kind of surprising. He's only playing because he don't want to be forgotten. And I think he's also trying to hold on so his son can get that guaranteed money. Good and well, the minute he gone, Bronny gonna get his butt cut. In fact, they gonna pay him to leave and don't come back. I don't know. Well, you can't compare a singer to a band. If you want to say him and Darius Rucker, Aloe Black was catchy and yet not catchy. But I'd take it over Hootie. Hootie was okay. Cool Summer was my song. I like Bananarama back then. Rock Lobster is my song by the B-52s. His Butt's Locked Up, that's the latest. Sounds a lot worse than what it is. But I don't think a lot of the outlets are going to be talking about it. I'm not saying it wasn't. But Bananarama, that song kind of was catchier with me. That's all. I had a good time back then, so let me just leave it at that. Yeah, he catchy, but then I don't think about him. If they choose to. But he got the complexion for the protection, so we'll see. Did it end Marv Albert's career? No. We'll see. I don't. First of all, when you not black, you always got a chance to get a do over. So I don't. Oh God, unfortunately, Gwen Stefani, and I don't like her solo career at all. But anything she does is better than Taylor Swift's whackness. That you gave me one that I can't even really want to talk about with that, but and I don't even like Gwen Stefani's solo career. It wasn't the panties that got him in trouble. You know what got him in trouble? He bit. He was a freak. He bit it was crazy. But he got married too. Snatched a bad chick too. Snatched a baddie. But he was cool. So I don't know. Yeah. The B-52s were cool. Well, from looks, I'm taking Nelly Furtado. Nelly Furtado look good now. She look good. Artistry as an artist. Oh God, I don't like neither one of their solo careers, but if I think about Stefani with no doubt, I take Stefani. Nelly bad though. Nelly is jelly. Boy, if Timberland was obsessed with her, oh Lord. Cause he got money. Shoot. Sanchez got money. He ain't gonna be locked up for long. They'll figure out a way to kind of worm it out. That was horrendous. And I did a video about that garbage, and that was horrendous. But I did a video about it, and I said what I said, and All I said was, two things came to mind. She either snuck in seeing some old black men on stage, or they was taking some blue pills. Cause that's the only reason how that should have worked. It's either a bad Viagra commercial gone wrong, or she snuck in the living room to see some older black dudes who were giving a performance, and she know where she was. It was at some Lollapalooza garbage, and it sucked. That was one of the worst things I've ever seen. And I thought Taylor Swift sucked doing Earth, Wind, and Fire, but Sabrina Carpenter took it to a whole nother level. Just when you think it can't get worse, it got worse. Well, you and I have two different standards of taste. Earth, Wind, and Fire is my favorite band, and I can't. What's happening, Tom? Great to see you, man. Thank you. I can't stand to see Earth, Wind, and Fire have to be marginalized with that garbage, so. And that was horrible. I'm a music historian too, and I thought it was garbage. 100% certifiable. Unprofessional. She can't sing. I probably listened to I Don't Want to Lose Your Love more, but Sheep's got the more iconic song. I'm sure they did. If you take enough blue pills, you'd be like, ooh. Probably thought you was 27 again. Ooh. When you 77, but she got you making you think you 27. Listen, you get paid enough money and you are getting paid enough money, you'll sit there and say, okay, I know better than that because I know Philip Bailey. Philip Bailey talked trash about when he had to work with incompetent producers before. So I know what he was thinking about working with her, but he had to smile and grin and bear because they don't own the name to Earth, Wind, and Fire, and it's tough. You need to start with Shaft. That's the soundtrack. There you go. The Shaft soundtrack. There you go. You can hear him doing his orchestrations, his arrangements, his musicianship, his vocals. Once you listen to Do Your Thing and you listen to Shaft, Get Back to Me, and then you listen to Cafe Regala, Cafe Regaya. When you listen to that instrumentation, Get Back to Me. And you won't listen to no Taylor Swift again after you hear some Isaac Hayes. Thank you, Tom. Glad to see you. Well, I ain't got no comment on that. He got paid more. He got paid the kind of money that Diddy used to get. This what we need is another entertainer, a black athlete to endorse alcohol. That's just what we need. We were just waiting to see who was going to do it. You and Taylor like what you like, but I think they suck. I'm gonna keep on saying it from the high top. They both sucked. Ain't no such thing as better. I think Pleasure Principle because of the way she used Janet's vocals in the background. Because the Imaginary Playthings was corny. She did nothing to it. I'll go Wayne Chung on that one. I think I bopped that bit more. And Beyonce and LeBron and Jay-Z and Diddy are all birds of a feather that tend to fly together. And she got that name off of her grandfather, which she probably gets about 10% of the cut. It's not what you think it is. It's a brand deal, but it's not really your liquor. But you get to pimp it and you get a portion of a cut. And then you got to sell so much of it to do it. She ain't sitting in no winery. Because if she was that smart, she'd be a scary person. But with much respect to time, thank you. It's what they do is it's basically like the BB King clubs. You think it's somebody that because they give their name, they're not really getting the main cut, but they get a cut of it. But you gotta sell so much of it to make it profitable. Well, that's what I was saying, but that's the only thing they could think about black folks. You either smoking joints, which there's money in the cess, and then there's a ton of money in the alcohol and the drug. That's all where the money's at. They ain't making no money with music. I hope you don't think that she's streaming like crazy. Ain't no money in no music. That's why they have to do subsidiaries. So, if you're a fan of that, that's what you like. I don't want that garbage, but that's what people do these days. Hmm. And I'm not saying anything about it either. They keep you on the plantation. That's what they do. No, it don't, because um, basketball players used to be clean cut. Singers used to have more of a clean cut. It was mainly like the rappers or the people. I know they used to have beer ads with certain people for grown folks, but it was even done with more maturation. This stuff ain't about no maturation. This ain't about no maturation. It's more like pimperation. I know what they're doing. People are hitting the likes up, hitting the polls up. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Numbers look great. Thank you, everybody. No, they never were. So when they started having CD burners, how you going to arrest somebody? If you bootleg and film, stuff happens off the warehouse even before it goes to people. It's done on purpose. It's been that way. It's just the old the reality. They make a joke about it. Sony Music released Bob Dylan's bootleg series. So you mean to tell me you're gonna put out something that's called a bootleg series and you don't know it's bootleg? Yeah, right. Well, Run DMC was dressed a certain way, and sure she probably does under a stage name. I wouldn't be surprised she does. They're not hanging on by no thread. They're making money. The problem is that they're trying. What they've done is they have told the audience out here that you suck. And so what happens is that you get low budget Tubi time. You don't have no stars no more. So you get is these generated films with half-hearted acting, and that's what you stuck with. They don't really feed you what you're thinking anymore. They just force feeding you the same old regurgitation. It's been took over. Ain't no took over. Been took over. Howard Jones. Well, they've always had access to free. I didn't say they were back, but they can win that division. I didn't say they were back. They got to figure out a way to win close games. That's the primary injuries run into. They can't seem to make stops. But Jacksonville, I'm gonna tell you, they're not that far off. They're not that far off. They were close to the Chargers game. They were close in the Eagles game. They were close in this game. They're not that far off. Because a ball bounce here and a move there, they could be 5-0. But I think they got a lot of work to do. Yeah, the Rams are frustrating though. It's like, dang, you lose ways to lose, and you should win. You should be undefeated. The Ram, because I think McVay is really can coach, but they just I don't know. Jacksonville might. I think the Rams can win the division, but they got to figure out a way to get consistent. Got to finish up. Got to finish up. Um, I like the Dance Electric better, but I probably listen to Fishnets more. He's still a puppy. He's still growing. No, that ain't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. Trevor gotta be more consistent. They got very fortunate the other night. He's got a ways to go. But if they can win close games and he can turn the ball over, they got a chance. Neither what for your arm? For your arm? Are you kidding me? The dude's 40 years old, 18 years in the league. He sucked in Cleveland, so he's gonna go to Cincinnati. He's gonna suck even more. Come on now. I got a video out, by the way. Look at my video. I talked about it today. He sucks. Only thing ain't gonna move is Joe Burrow. That's the only thing that's gonna move. Joe Flacco done played. They ain't got no expectations. Well, I guess after you got Joe Browning, I guess you would get excited because it can't get no worse, but it can. I'm gonna tell you this about Flacco. There's 9 years of his career. That's what I'm saying. He used to be. Notice you said the first 9 years. The last nine, he's been garbage. No, you can't come out and be a rookie and talking about that uh sessions hurt and your head hurt and you too tired. And you ain't even gonna the Giants won't even take you in. Or Cleveland won't. He sucks. He just dumb. Got a good arm, but just dumb. You can't say to do what? Be a mascot? For a mascot job? Come on now. But I guess out of him and Joe Flacco, I don't know. That's gonna be a tough game for the Bills. If Michael Penix shows up and they get on the, that's gonna be a toughie. We're gonna win, but it's gonna be tough. Oh, too many skating ring moments with Fatback on that one. But I like Shake and Dance with me though. But Fatback had so many moments with me with Backstroke. That was a party song on the wheels. Like I thought because that was a roller skating ring jam. But I did like Shake and Dance with me, but I gotta give it to Fatback on that one. You know I do like the break on Shake and Dance with me though. So just a pinch, I give it to Fatback. But I like both of them songs. So. Good picks though. Had to think there on that. Square B is in a blowout. Come on now. That's not. I like Encore, but Square Biz got more snap to it than the rapping. None of that because it's the individuals. It takes all that to make it, so I can't say. I don't know about that. They haven't gotten blowed out yet by nobody, so I won't say that. And one thing I've seen so far in the NFL this year is no one is 100 proof. Kansas City could win that game, but if they do get blowed out, then they're in trouble. That's because their defense is spotty and their offense is more spottier. But that's a lot of youth going on, and that's understandable. Hmm. I like Tatum Marie. But no, you like what you like on that one. I listen. When we talking about singing group people that's got real talent, I ain't got no problem with that. I don't know about that. They're not the best. They're not the best team in the league, and he's not the best player in the league. So I don't know about that. And I usually don't agree with Stephen A. Smith, but I gotta agree with him on that. I'm not impressed because he's pulling it out his chin against whack teams. It's not like he's really doing it against somebody that can put the decks on him. I mean, had he came back and beat Philadelphia, okay, I give you that. But he. I'm just waiting for him to show his true colors. Start throwing more picks and fumbling because I just not sold on him. I'm not the biggest Baker fan, but he is playing good though. I will give him that. He's consistent. We'll see. But I'm not sold on Tampa Bay though. Yeah, they got no choice. You act like they don't win tonight. That's it. And God knows that was pain racking last night. You got down 6-1, and Guerrero hit another home run. I'm like, come on now. But Aaron Judge came up huge. I listen to Same Old Love more, but Your Love Is King is probably the better one. But I listen to Same Old. I listen to. That's a big game because whoever wins that game is going to definitely feel themselves. And it's the redeeming quarterback situation. Big game for both. Whoever wins that game, they're a playoff bound. I think Tampa Bay's playoff bound anyway because they're playing those sorry joke of a division. Unless Carolina is halfway for real on Atlanta, but the winner of that game is definitely in the catbird seat. So that's a toughie though. I like that shirt. I love Your Love Is King is probably more iconic, but Same Old Love is my song. I love the bass on that song. I got 65 days a year. All I wanna do is and they both were great at their time, so he's looking poised. He looking so good he got Nick Saban coming out dissing the Patriots for how he looked. He's looking good. Do you like Lafitte? Don't know who that is. Some people I don't listen to, so there's a lot of them. So I probably seen her though. I just didn't click on it. Sure, I seen her though. There's a lot of those. A lot of them. Loungy acts. Emil. Because Leela James had a moment, didn't quite go there. And Gopel was nice, but Emil wins though. Fire. More iconic song. So I gotta go with Fire. Iconic song, the groove, the nine. Oh, wow, the poll is going good and the likes are going good. We're good. This is one. I'm a big Cameo fan too, but that was more of an iconic song. Fire was huge. Shake Your Pants was a groove, but Fire is like, it's hard. Out of them two, Jill Scott. Alicia Keys one of the most overrated acts. Jill's a better vocalist, but Alicia got more out of her career. That's the sad part when you ask me that question. Because if you ask me who got the most out of it, it's Alicia Keys. You ask me who I'd rather listen to, Jill Scott. He's got a better voice than Alicia Keys. Whitney, she had the biggest selling debut album for a female artist at the time, and also she was on all the magazine covers. Whitney was big. Angie Stone, she was a better writer. I like India Arie, alright, but Angie Stone was a better writer. So yeah, I liked India.Arie, but she wasn't a better writer than Angie Stone. If you know anything about Angie Stone's history, it's not up for discussion. It's not up for discussion. It ain't even close if you know about Angie Stone's career. It's not even. Let me tell you something. Control was a big album, but Whitney came out with a debut album that was the biggest selling debut for a woman. And she had all those hits, and no one saw it coming. That's what made hers more special and significant. So she seen Janet Jackson under a table and make her cover her mouth with her weave. It's not even up for discussion. I like Janet a lot, but she was never in Whitney's league. Oh, probably Badu. Because I like her songs better. Jill's a better singer, but Badu got moved me more. Mm. Oh, excuse me. Just keep it 100. Yeah, Badu for me. Badu for me. Badu. Lauren Hill. She had it all. She could sing, she could rap, she had vibe. She changed the game for a minute with the writing and the rapping and the vibe. Just didn't keep the juice though. And then when she came out that unplugged album, she scared me because she came off like a mad trucker. Like I didn't know what was going on. But for a moment in 98, 99, it was Lauren Hill and everybody else. Lauren Hill was almost like on some Michael Jackson tip, you know. She had it like that for a moment. As close as you could be, yeah. So and she came out the box and hit big. Calvin can appreciate this one about Whitney. Let me tell you how big Whitney was. Whitney was so big that when Prince did an interview, Whitney got the cover. And Prince didn't talk much, and everybody went, that's how big Whitney was. Oh God. These two, really, it's a slow day now. And this is in the third tier slot too. So let you know what you asking me. You're asking me about two third tier turkeys. By default, Eric Benet. By default. But they both third tier. Yeah, she gets them. But only by people who keep up with her career and know. She's got a commercial on these YouTube streets about she's a music professor. She teaches. I don't know. I think she gets respected by the music, but not so. Brian McKnight in a blowout. Come on now. Kim is like a triple junior whopper, broke Al Jarreau. He's okay with a nod to Seal, but Brian McKnight would run circles over him. It's not even close. The Go Go's. The Bengals always sound like some 60s make believe cartoon band that I it was okay. You talking about singing or looks? I think I give Kelly a slight edge. It's close though. Oh, it's Kelly. But Kelly is like a deep second tier act though. Sometimes you ask me certain people and they never had a career, and there's for a little much politics involved. So, all right, keep hitting the poll up, the questions up. Appreciate everybody taking this. Going good. We got quite a lively set today. Once again, I won't be here tomorrow, but I'll definitely come back. Oh, man, let me see. Beyonce. I ain't gonna comment about that, man. Uh, Justify My Love, Madonna. Nope. I Try was a decent song, and she had one song that I thought was okay, but I just always thought she sounded like she was drunk, and I just never really bopped her like that. She was okay, but it felt like old folk music though. I liked her as a person. I just didn't like that granny voice. That voice kind of scared me. But she was big once upon a time, though. I'm not that. I'm not. I'm indifferent to Beyonce. I don't really listen to her at all. You Should Be Dancing, and I like both those bands. Get Down Tonight is pretty funky jam, but it jams. But that's Bee Gees though. That was the apex right there, especially the live version. True. Hmm. For me, Come and Get Your Love. Cause I thought You Sexy Thing was like a novelty song. That was catchy. I like the groove on it, but Redbone, Come and Get Your Love, I like that chant. Always put me in a good mood. Eh, eh. He gonna try, but it's gonna mess it up. A unique voice by default, Macy Gray, and I'm gonna tell you why. Cause T-Balls, they basically her trying to sound like a female version of Prince. That's what it was in his regular voice. But Macy Gray had that, it ain't gonna work. He's gonna backfire. I wasn't that big on Macy, so but I never get asked that though about them two though. Lenny in a blowout. Come on now. Come on now. You just trying to really egg it on. You must be running out of stuff. Come on now. It's not even close. Even though Lenny's very derivative, it's not even close. Lenny got circles and stars over Macy Gray. Maxwell in a blowout. Better singer, better songwriter. But Lenny parlayed something that he went to the rock genre and he kept it and he was able to thrive in there. So I give him credit for that. But he's a great poser. Like a model of a person who looks like they bad. Because if his music was as half as tight as his fashion sense, that cat would be in the GOAT conversation. He's not though. He's not though. But imagery wise, Lenny is a model, yo. Lenny is like Lenny is like a Bentley or Lamborghini, but then the wheels and the motors like a Volkswagen. So that's the only downside to Lenny. He means well though. And I like the cat, but he ain't that deep though. And Maxwell runs circles around him. And yeah, Maxwell is not the deepest cat though. But he good. You know, he had Lenny ain't never hit like Maxwell hit, but he's hit though. But I like Lenny that he stuck around, but ecstasy and a blowout. Come on, man. That's not a heavyweight fight. I love TKO, but ecstasy. Barry White tore that joint up. That was a knockout. It doesn't do Teddy good having to go against Barry White. The strings on ecstasy alone, that first 10, 15 seconds alone, I mean, he puts Teddy to sleep with that. Yep. Well, it's true. Barry White was. Huh. Okay. Where everybody going? It's getting quiet again. Okay. What we got? Oh, Bobby Brown. Don't Stop Your Love was a good album track, but Rock With You was a good slow jam. They both sound alike. That's what I'm surprised David Foster. Um, Best of My Love for jamming, but to be real for the groove. Ray Parker Jr. on that pocket was sick, but Best of My Love, that's when I grew to all day. It's a toughie because again, I think to be real got the juice. It's got the musicianship, the Marvelettes for me. No, I just yep, Marvelettes for me. Good ideas. Okay. Bless his heart. He's so tired. What we got? No, I didn't pass out. I'm very much here. I was just waiting on people. I was just waiting on conversation because things had got kind of stalemate. So I was just waiting for the next topic to come up because I'm ready to go. And I was ready to go. I just kind of leaned back. That's all. Yeah. Actually, I'm in a pretty good mood. I had a nice walk. I go, oh, well, we're glad to have you. I'm most appreciative of Charlene. Charlene's a good soul. I appreciate everybody that comes through. I just like to keep the conversations going. Yeah, well, I was waiting on conversations, and so when people don't say nothing, I kind of don't know if you're gonna come back on. And if you got, and I understand, but if there's any delay or is anything going, that's all. But because I didn't hear anything after the question was asked about, uh, oh, oh, okay. You want to ask me about Gene Knight from Mr. Big Stuff and what's it about Motown? Of course, my guy's gonna win. Mary Wells. Mary Wells. So Mary Wells was your question. So Mary Wells versus Gene Knight. Yeah, I got you. Call Me by Blondie. There you go. Hope that helps you, Charlene. Forgive me because I just lost track of that. Ooh. 1999. But if Michael had a done that live version, like I had saw the rehearsal with the African drums and put a little bit more musicianship to it, I would have said remember the time, but I gotta give it to 1999. You want to say the eyes, because the eyes don't lie. That can make or break you. Yeah. And I do love Remember the Time. I think the vocals were better, but music on that one, I gotta say. Yeah, Mary Wells, My Guy, which Smokey Robinson wrote, and Gene Knight, Mr. Big Stuff. Oh yeah. Who do you think you are, Mr. Big Stuff? Good topic though. Good topic. Yeah. I gotta be honest, but when you mention me certain songs, I go by the songs. And it's not about who I think was better or not. If they got the songs, it all depends on what the songs I'm talking about and the artistry and the impact. I listen to Remember the Time more than I do 1999 though. But 1999 was a better song though. For me and Prince, it's the 80s stuff is what I like more than. You ain't gonna give me the like too much stuff after the 80s though. Just don't. So this is what I'm talking about right here. If y'all, everybody got conversation, I am waiting. Call me. Because I used to listen to Call Me all the time. I did like Telephone Bill, but I like Johnny Guitar Watson's better. Ah, Beyonce, come on now. Shake It Off was catchy though, but Naughty Girl for the W. Super Freak. I like Superman Lover for the groove. I thought the groove was tight, but Super Freak, the long version, goes hard. And it's a more iconic song that's got more groove to it. But Superman Lover is a cold jam. It's cold. It's a cold jam though. It's cold. See, when y'all keep on engaging me, I will be up on the book. This is what I'm looking for. That's all I need. We keep talking, we good. It's when people go silent, then I gotta like. But if you keep talking, I'm good. Superman Love is tight though. Don't get it twisted though. Martha and the Vandellas, I think Mr. Postman and Leslie Gore did "It's My Party." Mr. Postman for me. It was Gore who sung "It's My Party." Now I got a tribute for you, Charlene. Do you know who produced "It's My Party"? It's my party. Do you know who produced that song? That's the biggie. "It's My Party" was a bigger hit. Boom, boom, boom for me. But I did like "I Put a Spell on You," but John Lee Hooker for me. "It's My Party" was a bigger song. But the question I'm asking you is, do you know who produced "It's My Party"? I'm going that long. I'm going that long. I'm going that long. I'm going that long. Lauren Hill. No, it's Gore. But do you know who produced the song? It's my party and I cry if I want to. Let's see if you can guess who produced the song. Mm-mm. Quincy Jones. He was with Mercury Records back in 63, 64. That was one of his first pop productions. But it would make sense you would think Barry Gordy because when Barry Gordy did Shop Around, it had that kind of a sound to it. Except, yeah, it was a difference. The Ronettes, uh, uh, it was done by Phil Spector. Dang, what was the biggest Ronette song? Can't think of right now. But I can hear it in my head though. Hold up. Be my baby. Be my little baby. Cause remember, cause Ronnie Spector. Yeah, I know. But Quincy did like the jazz cats and he adapted to pop. Plus, Quincy Jones had the vocabulary, and he got appointed to be president of Mercury Records. He was always the right brother at the right place at the right time. Okay, Gordy was R&B pop, but he also did blues. Gordy knew jazz too. Don't get it twisted. Gordy is the greatest rocket man ever. Gordy is like the Jerry West of music. He's the logo because everybody knows that Motown incorporated everything. The Funk Brothers, the band, the cast he had with Jameson and them, those cats could play everything. Culture Club and a blowout because Tom Clock's Heart was one of my cuts. That bass line alone. And it's funny, I do like You Make My Dreams Come True, and I was listening to it, but it was catchy, sing alongs, finger snap. But Tom Clock Heart was something else. I mean, but the Culture Club had to stop right there. That was a song for the ages. I love the harmony. Boy George sounded great on that track. Tom Clock the Heart was my jam. Let me tell you how much I like Tom Clock the Heart. That's back when it was on cassette, and it depending on what version you got, you couldn't get it on cassette. I had to buy two tapes to get that song. So love Tom. Tom was my song. Yeah, Phil Spector did all the Ronettes' biggest hits. Him and Ronnie Spector. That's what the name for Ronette. So yeah, it's a whole crazy story with that. Okay. Still stated at 83%. People thought the LeBron James thing was corny. Appreciate the people that's done the takes on that. Great, great responses. Okay, we're just waiting and seeing what we got. This is what happens when I be like, come on now. So we got, come on now. I gotta go with Kraftwerk because Kraftwerk did everything Art of Noise did pre. I did like a lot of Art of Noise, but I gotta give it to Kraftwerk though. So yeah. The Four Seasons against Harold Melvin the Blue Notes. Is that what you're asking? Because that's the only seasons I know. Yo, what's up? If it's out of those two, it's the Four Seasons. Frankie Van and the Four Seasons. I like Harold Melvin the Blue Notes, but Frankie Van and the Four Seasons got bigger songs. If that's the debate, football elite. Don't ask my neighbor. But Fire is a good song though. It has a nice smooth quality to it. And I definitely like the way it's kind of smoky. It's got a nice texture to it. But don't ask my neighbor. I gotta say, Messi kind of holds up better overall. But Ronaldo was bad for his time. But I think Messi gets a little bit of a nod. Yeah, don't ask my neighbor. Pumps and the bumps. I thought Hammer with Teddy Riley was actually interesting. Had he got it to him a little bit quicker. Uh, my Mix-a-Lot songs I like more in between early on. He has some message songs. He's a smart businessman. I know that about Mix-a-Lot. He handled his business, and he don't talk a lot either. John Cougar. I like Run to You more at the time, and he had a certain type of, it was cool for the time. But John Cougar, Hurt So Good was a jam. John Cougar seemed to make the right type of songs. He had the kind of thing. Adams had that crossover appeal where he made it seem like it was adult contemporary age, and John Cougar had it down pat, and he was legit in the second. So it was slots to it, but I give John Cougar the edge. Sometimes love don't feel like it should. Hurt so good. But it's funny, like when you listen to cats now, you don't look at them like you did back then, because back then they were bigger and they seemed more cooler. The songs was cool, but it's not the way it was though. Because both those songs are like a notch below a Springsteen, you know, or Tom Petty. Oh, hmm but they were hits at the time. They all right. I like Brian Adams okay back in the day. John Cougar Mellencamp, I like them okay. But if I don't hear neither one of them no more, because I used to listen to them a lot. hmm That's when you had more rock pop acts that you could choose from, you know. But it was a different animal of music back then. It was so different. People just don't even begin to know unless you experienced it, because it's kind of hard to explain it. But if you grew up back then, you know exactly what I mean. If you didn't, then you better go ask somebody. It was a different breed. Betty Davis eyes. And I do know about what she bought me, but Betty Davis eyes was catchy. You should like Betty Davis eyes. Think about Little Red Corvette. Her hands go. Prince was listening to that synth patch that she had in there. And for a minute, in a strange way, Kim Carnes had a chance to have a pretty good run. She was interesting for a while. And I don't know who she ticked off, and she didn't want to do some strange for the change because she had a run there for a minute. For a minute, she was almost unlikely too because it was like she reminded me of Cagney from Cagney and Lacey. She had that smoker's voice in that before what's her butt blew up. Bonnie Tyler. Kim Carnes was like a precursor to that with that ashtray singing voice. But Betty Davis Eyes was a cut though. And I did like that What About Me song she and Kenny Rogers and James Ingram did, which was an unlikely threesome. Some people had issue with that song too, by the way. You should hear how she talks about you. You should hear what she said. Mm-mm. Melissa Manchester reminded me of somebody that worked at Macy's or something in the perfume section, but was cool. She wasn't. It wasn't that whiskey and onion voice, but I know what you're going with it. But Kim Carnes had that whiskey and onion and Henny on her voice. I like Melissa Manchester though. That was a different era though. I hate talking about that because it was such a different era. Eternal Flame of Cyndi Lauper, what? What Cyndi Lauper song you want? Oh, True Colors. That song was considered a classic. She wrote some good songs. She had some songs that it's just that her quirkiness and her vibe. She was kind of like the Bjork of her era, and kind of like Bjork and what Billie Eilish can't get out of her tummy. That's what Cyndi Lauper was. Because if Billie Eilish could actually open her mouth and could sing and key, and she has something there, Cyndi Lauper would be a good role model for some of them. That's what they're trying to do. Eternal Flame wasn't a bad song, but the stuff the Bengals did always felt like somebody was standing. Oh my God, it is you. Oh man, long time no see. What's up? What's up, man? That ain't gonna save nothing. That ain't gonna save nothing. Amazingly terrible. Ain't nothing to her. I didn't peeped her out. I don't. No, no. You like all these whack people that are out now who ain't that memorable. I've listened to her, and she got all these awards, so about time. But it ain't over yet, though. It ain't over. They still gotta find. That sounds like a personal problem. They still gotta find a way to win and beat them guys. Gotta remember something. They were down 6-1, and Toronto can hit. Guerrero is just gotta find a way to come a big. It's a tough series. I mean, you could throw pitching out the window. I do like modern day acts. I told you, I think Bruno Mars and I like Gaga. And I think Beyonce's out well when she's on point. And I do like what's her name? She's a black country singer. I like her a lot. That's out too. I do. It's just that the standards of what had back in the day is not the same. I'm not gonna sit here and act like the acts today because you don't have that. Yeah, Mickey Gutton. That's exactly. I like her voice. Now, see, that's somebody. If you were going on about her like you do Taylor Swift and Billie Eilish, she just doesn't have the right material, but she can sing. Same thing with Fantasia. You know, Calvin know what I'm talking about. It's not me hating. It's just that y'all don't have no standards. Like last summer, you got excited about "Not Like Us" by Kendrick Lamar. A diss track was your song of summer. We had songs for summer. We don't sit around with some mess like that. I'm taking Vanessa Williams, but it's close though. He's hitting forever. He got to come through big. You know what he got to do? It's money time. You can do the averages when you ain't got nothing else to do. You got all winter long to go for average, but you got to hit them home runs. He got to go for broke. You're playing against Toronto. Thank you, Calvin. Preach, preacher, preach. People been on trying to hear what I'm trying to say. You had to bring it on stage. You had to be your drip had to be from head to toe. You had to know how to talk. It was a whole nine. You know, yeah. I mean, see, I get a lot of people that sell a lot of hype, but that don't mean they got the skills. It's just like when I have some people come at me talking about is Drake a top 10 rapper? I'm like, are you for real? Because he does all those streams. I said, but what's his songs? I said, y'all just desperate because you're in an era where you get spoon fed stuff. People used to have to get off their butts to go buy stuff. They had to get off their butt to go get stuff. They had to get off their butt to go make it happen. Not this where you push a button and you do this and okay. And in your wheelhouse about athletes, you wanted to prove that you belong. That's what Magic. Well, Magic came to the Lakers, but he still had to make that Showtime. Larry Bird had to make the Celtics his wheelhouse. Isaiah Thomas had to make the Pistons his wheelhouse. Jordan had to make the Bulls his wheelhouse. You see where I'm going with this? You name a great player that had to prove they stuff. Now where they just kind of showed up and said, "Okay, I'll put 15 together and we'll win." And look, Shaq came with pressure. Kobe came with pressure. Dwayne Wade came with pressure. LeBron did to an extent, but that changed when he started, forming what he wanted. Betty Wright in a blowout. And I'm not talking just because of the politics. Betty Wright was a better writer, better overall artist. Gloria Gaynor can sing, but that's not for discussion. Betty Wright is one of those people. She did a whole lot more than people don't even begin to know. Yeah, but if you come along in an era where you saw people having to really put their foot in their craft and make a statement, you know, see, I could tell it like this to shut it down. He sure was. And it wasn't because of that nasty candy bar either. And Derek Jeter was Mr. October Jr. You had to bring it. I'll take you back 10 years ago with Mitch Burminger. You remember when Burminger, um, when he was pitching for the Giants and he pitched was starting, really? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, you did. And to add to Calvin's point, Ronald Isley was in an interview back in 2003, and they asked him the difference between the 70s and the 00s. He said back then, he said, man, y'all just got to worry about computers. He said, we had to bring it every night. First, second, third tier would tear your behind up. You had to be ready. Because playing in New York carries more weight than Oakland. And plus, Charlie Finley was such a tacky turkey owner. And he didn't really invest with a three-peat. That's one of the reasons why people don't respect small markets to this day. And baseball is probably the hardest sport to three-peat in. Probably. Because basketball, you can pretty much you can be the best player, best team. Football, you come close. Baseball, shoot. It don't mean nothing. You can have all the talent and don't win. It don't mean nothing. Believe me, if Conseco and McGuire and them had a three-peated with that A's teams that they had from 88 through 91, you wouldn't have stopped not hearing about it. Hold up. All right. We are back. Had to take care of something. Because junk food is like it's like drugs, and that's what it is. It's like a chemical that just chews at you, and it's like, and you, it's the undercurrent that forces the issue. Because I look better now, and for other reasons, I look better, feel better, rest better, exercise better, and those toxins ain't good for you. And I'll tell you like this: I thought about Doctor Sabi. You ain't gonna lose the sensei. You'll spank that butt. Um, I could get everything in my vegetarian meals. Also, uh, Exercise is fine. My body feels good. And when COVID hit, the doctors was also telling. I had tried it before, just that it was more expensive back when, and I didn't have as much to offer. So this last time, I was like, "Oh, straight." No, I got vegetarian fish. They have a vegan. They have a vegetarian fish if you want that. They got everything vegetarian that you want. Yeah, because they try to give you poison. They feed you poison. You gotta take care of your health if you black. Nobody black should ever question nobody black about why you a vegetarian, why you eat healthy. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? The way they put all that crap in the food plants and the plantation, the slave fruit. Are you kidding me? Please, why not? You know why? Because we've been fed soul food and the scraps of the bottom of the barrel. And so when you get hip to it, you don't eat that mess no more because it's done on purpose. And think about this, for instance. Why does it cost more to get a package of tofu than a spam can? See, they do this stuff on purpose. You have to enlighten yourself. There are some very cool African American um, content creators on YouTube who are vegetarian food and vegan food, which is great. And I watch a few of them, you know. But yeah, that's how they get you. They want you to be all saturated and greasy because that's how they get you. So thank you, Ted. It's embarrassing. I was so mad with Jonathan Taylor, and I just thought it was a Colts problem. Then that turkey did it for the Colts the other day, and I did a video about that dude for the Cardinals. Cats got to cross the line. You know, Leon Lett, when he did it against the Bills, uh, I was glad too because it could have been 60 burger on Buffalo, but it's gotten embarrassing because cats ain't paying attention. Oh, you'll stop when your arteries clog up and your fingers start to sting and you start getting diabetes. You stop. They'll get you. Yeah, I know they do. Not necessarily. I figured that Dick Gregory. I watched Dick Gregory's old videos. Doctor Save Death from People. No, it's a mental thing. And it's another thing I do. I fast a lot. Sometimes I had cereal, but I fast for like 10, 12 hours. Kyrie Irving does it too. You fast, you know. You clean your system out. You drink more water, you clean your system. It's spiritual purification. He looks all right. I think the Bills just didn't respect him, and I think they were too conservative. Mm, he looks okay. Yeah. But I like his vegetable wraps. That's what I go by. The Patriots still got a little bit of a. They're not that legit of a team. Remember, as great as they played, they only beat the Bills by 3. And remember, Buffalo turned the ball over 3 times, and you only win by 3 points. You're playing that your coach and you are playing everything close to the vest. You're playing not to lose games. You're playing tight, and you're getting by. He'll be better in a couple of years. That's when he's gonna be scary. That's when he'll get scary. Makes your stomach go down, and it also cleans your system out. And if you're drinking more waters and natural juices and things of that nature, you just approach life differently. I can't begin. There was a time I used to like a lot of stuff like that, but I don't. And the food just don't hit. It fell off of me. But I'm not. That's a good question because I'll tell you, if Kyle Shanahan, I gotta go with Mac Jones. I'm gonna tell you why. He got him looking poised, and Brock Purdy may have a hard time getting his job back if Mac Jones goes on a run. He looked very well. If he don't make mistakes and he can stay poised, both of them making Belichick look like a joke though. Where you at, Ted? Belichick looks bad. I did a video about this coming out soon. Belichick looks bad because both of them cats. He don't want North Carolina to say anything about Drake May, and he can't talk about Mac Jones. That's 2 L's plus the Brady L. Belichick stays catching L's. Okay, I got about 15 more minutes. 15 more minutes of live. That'll be 2 hours. So let's keep on getting some more questions in. Come on back, Ted. Where you at, man? Now, food doesn't really do much for me. Not that stuff. I'm pretty much, you know. hmm I don't know what Kendrick Lamar's got to do with those cats, but mm. I didn't hear Belichick say anything about Kendrick. Okay, I think I got everything. I think Drake Main can be okay. Like I said before, they got to get a tight end. You know, I hated they beat the Bills for personal reasons. I tried everything. Okay, a past life I did back in the day. Back in the day, yeah. I think like I said, but the Patriots are what we call a second, third tierish team. They're not elite. You know, got to remember they're the same team that let Geno Smith beat them, and he's plays quarterback for both teams, even nobody asked him to. Okay, it's okay. I think Mac Jones is definitely looking good though. Very poised. That's a big win against the Rams. I mean, that was not the way they looked against Jacksonville, but hey. And people forget. I mean, Kyle Shanahan. It's not the regular season. Ted knows this. As shenanigans don't start till he gets to the AFC Championship to the Super Bowl. Anything up to the second round, he's got a healthy quarterback and most of his parts. He gets that part right. Probably assault somebody. That's probably the one. But I don't want to keep talking about stuff like that because that was an isolated situation. It wasn't recent, and it was like kids to kids, but that was a lifetime ago. Now, I don't like talking about stuff like that on here because sometimes people might be snitching and carrying it up. It wasn't anything recent, and it was like almost an isolated episode. I was in Houston, Texas, but it always involves somebody, sucker punching somebody doing something. But you gotta be careful what you ask in certain sectors, though, because somebody will run it and run and go, ooh. Everybody steals signs in NFL. That's nothing new. Nobody plays but cover two. So I mean, like, really? They ain't steal no signs. They caught uh Chris Jones being lax on defense. There wasn't no sign stealing with that interception. Patrick Mahomes threw a nice fade. It's just that and Kelsey couldn't tackle worth jack. Dude just stepped in on it. That's all that was. No, they're playing what I call to the vest style of football. They're Jacksonville is playing like a tier better than New England. Trevor Lawrence is doing what Drake May is aspiring to, and they're good enough to beat you in different ways. It's it's kind of football you got to play them for 4 quarters, and well, shucks, I got racially profiled, so I mean you can call it. That wasn't going to be taken or nothing like that, but I had to sit there and wait. The stuff they did, so I had to deal with profiling a few times. One time verbally, and the second time just false detention without any. So it's real. hmm I used to live in Houston, so I know. And you forgot about Barry Bonds. I put Barry Bonds with Willie Mays. I don't put Babe Ruth. And I put Tiger Woods with Jack Nicholls. I don't know how you disrespect. And where's Bill Russell at? I'm not gonna turn into no video because you didn't do it right. And see, you mentioned everybody. That doesn't. There's just too many. Joe Montana could be up in there. If Mahomes wins another couple rings, he's in that conversation. He's in my top three quarterbacks. Um, it's not. It's and Muhammad Ali. Yeah. But if I had to pick out that list, I gotta probably say Tom Brady because I think it's a heck of impressive to dominate as long as he did, to go through what he did, and then with Peyton Manning, it doesn't matter how many rings you got. I know it's not about how many rings you got. Did you dominate? What with Chamberlain dominated? He had two rings. He dominated. Yeah, he is unsung. He played in the Jordan era, and he wasn't like really. He was popular, but he was like a cat that kind of to the side of what jacking his arms with juice. I'll be back, baby. The cat that didn't know but three words in English, and he became governor. Okay. I don't like to do these sort of things because again, I can pick one and this guy and that guy, but it's hard to say one guy definitively because again, you're disrespecting eras, you're disrespecting times, rules. It's great to appreciate. Yeah, we can have a debate about two people who we think, but to say that they're the end all be all, you know, and I always have to use that as a caveat. I might think of somebody as and me personally, but as someone came along and said, well, the era isn't pointed out, then I'd have to acknowledge that. Except for like this era. Because you got to start with Floyd Mayweather. And I don't really see anybody else that's out here now that I would put on the same, what his impact, even though, um, you know, well, what he did was distinctive. But there's always the saying, the best hasn't been born yet either. So everybody comes in a different era and they see things in a different light too. Except I do believe that before social media, you kind of had more connection when you had everything kind of wired the same way. Whereas now your attention span is kind of haywire. So that's all. Uh, I don't know. I mean, it all depends on what you like. I'm not really into it. I'm an old ET head. I like ET. I liked Scooby Doo cartoons. I liked Animalville Horror. Carrie was one of my favorite movies. You know, but I did like American Werewolf of London. But I don't really don't watch those movies no more though. Okay. Someone else voted 87%. They thought LeBron's decision was corny. That's good. Oh, come on now. This is horrible. Because the only ones I like out of that list is Kelly Clarkson and Lana Del Rey. But you asking me who had the bigger impact, and that's why I take my bias out of it, is Miley Cyrus. She made it count for the least talent. She did the best. Josh Stone was a bunch of hot air and fluff, smoke and mirrors. I love The Shining. Mm, I guess I could look at it like that. Jack Nicholson was bad back then. Yeah. Lana Del Rey's would be Clarkson. I like her talent, but Miley's the only one that got it right far as the song. She had the career because if Kelly Clarkson had Miley Cyrus's career, they'd be talking about her like Barbara Streisand for her generation. But she ain't got the right songs. She don't hit like she should. Yeah, like Coldplay, Middle of the Road, Milk Toasted. She's just lacking the right songs. Like I said, Miley got the songs that those don't got. And Josh Stone was like cookie cutter. She's like Jessie J. It's cookie cutter. Because she should have been somewhere between Adele and Amy Winehouse or something. She'd come out of British UK. This didn't do it. Yeah, back in the day. I don't really even talk about it like that, but I did like that movie a lot. But to be honest with you, I wouldn't wait till October to watch it. I probably watch that thing August, September. But like Carrie, I like to watch in October. I got movies I watch for certain seasons if they happen to be on. Okay. Yeah. He was the real deal because he beat you with this. MMA today, you gotta remember something. That's like asking me about Jimi Hendrix. Could he play guitar today? He did things with his head. You can't when we talk about the past, um, you gotta talk about people who could beat you mentally, and they had it done to a science. That's why they weren't here for as long. They burned all those electrolytes out their system. They were uniquely in tune to another world. Bruce Lee was one of those people. Just like Jimi Hendrix was to guitar, it's how Bruce Lee was to martial arts. Hmm. I'll take your word for the Calvin. I used to watch more horror movies back in the day, and different era, different time. Yeah, and it didn't do no good. Ralph is what I call. I like him in with Tony. I don't like his solo career, but he's a very talented producer, arranger, and he can play. But I don't really care for his solo career. It just seems like a Vegas lounge act. I don't think he's the strongest vocalist, but I think in a band setting, it's something about him. It just missing it. It was just missing it for me. But with Tony, me and Ralph was cool. And when he worked with DJ Quick, when they did like Tony work with Quick and he worked with different people, I was cool with it. But I can't mess with his solo career. I just ain't feeling it. It's too loungy for me. Too loungy. And when I get into it, they say, well, he did play with D'Angelo. I say, yeah, I like that. Oh, I'm very familiar with all the people he played with, and that's what I like. But him solo, Josh Stone, she had a chance. She was out before Amy Winehouse and Adele. Corny. Just didn't have no she wasn't soulful and she was too light to get away with middle of the road. So she was kind of like, you know, she's a warm back at your local coffee shop. Not even Starbucks. It's our bucks. They took the star off when she come to town. I like Tone. Because I used to groove and they got better and better with each record. I liked it a lot. They were one of my favorites. Well, I like what they did. But I ain't never felt him like that. You asking me to rank them or you asking me who's the best of the three? The best of the three is Ray Charles. Well, Ray Charles 1, Sinatra 2, and Johnny Cash 3. Ray Charles changed the course of music. He was a standard. And then Sinatra, Johnny can't touch no Frank Sinatra. And he can't touch no Ray. Stop. He can't touch no Sinatra. Did you hear Frank Sinatra with the Dorsey brothers back in the 40s? And he could take in, he worked with Carlos Jobim and did um what's the style of music? He worked with Carlos Jobim, Bossa Nova. So Johnny Cash can't do no Bossa Nova. Sinatra working with Costa, the arrangers. Come on now. I like Cash too, but he ain't on no Sinatra level. Sinatra was cold. Sinatra was a standard, yeah. But Ray Charles with R&B, pop, gospel, jazz, played stride piano, could play anything. You put on a Got a Woman and listen to what Ray was doing then. Because that's what the pop mainstream has pushed on them. That's why. How many people do you know get to hear about Bobby Blue Bland or Johnny Taylor or Coco Taylor? Or they talk about John Lee Hooker, but that's because they were mainstreamized. That's what it is. It's just like Bob Marley and reggae, which is even worse. Because if it ain't Bob Marley and Peter Tosh, and you good luck after that. They minimize it. They put a face and they attach it, and that's all they know. So that's what you getting. It's a face that they attach to it. That's how it always is, though. I like ZZ Hill. He ain't in the conversation with them cat, but he was good for his time. Cheating in the Next Room was my jam. And then Jay Blackfoot, Taxi Route. I'm down with that. Grew up with that. But they're not pushing that though. Mm-hmm. They're not pushing that. Albert Collins too, and with the Jerry curl and mm-hmm. T-Bone Walk, all that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, well, you're talking about dance hall. I'm talking about the old school with the reggae. They don't talk about Third World. They don't talk about Steel Pulse. There's a lot of acts they don't talk about. Dennis Brown. Hmm. So dance hall. You're talking about more modernized dance hall. Right before Afro beat, you talking about more dance hall. You know. Yeah. Okay. I'll look that up. Dancehall was completely different than the reggae. The reggae tone and before reggae tone, all that. So it was a different hit. Just like it's all the same. It's all offshoots of African based music. They one and the same. They just updated versions. Ask Carlos Santana, he'll tell you. I know before you throw Daddy Yankee at me and you throw Shaba Ranks, all that stuff is all connected. What about Tom Brown? I love that song. Yeah. I saw Texas Chainsaw back in the day. I have no reasons to go see it again, but back in the day. I like Tom Brown. He's a real cool dude. As a matter of fact, he's on that bass line was wicked. That song used to scare me with that bass line. I want to grip at you, say move. He's on Facebook and he will friend you. And he's a real cool dude. Real cool. He's a commercial pilot too. And I'll tell you a story about him. He was on Arista Ruckus before Kenny G. Clive Davis had him doing he just didn't want to be labeled a funk artist because he bowed his jazz. He was doing that before Kenny G. A lot of people don't know. He was on GRP Records, David Gershwin and all them. But once he got on Arista, and he was forced after he liked all the songs that paid the bills, but the problem was is that's all they wanted from him. And he could have, because you got to remember him doing Jamaica Funk, Herbie Hancock doing Rocket, was jazz funk cats doing groove based music. That's what Kenny G blew up as an instrumentalist. Just thought I'd throw a little tidbit in there for you. Every once in a while on the live stream, I throw a tidbit. Winton by default because he just, and again, to me, his best stuff was his classical stuff, the one stuff he did with Kathleen Battle. But he gets his jazz chops. Nicholas Payton is underrated. So that's funny you mentioned that Vaughn would be last. And I did like Nicholas Payton, but Winton's gonna win that though. Old school horror movies for me, if I'm going to watch them. Okay, I'm gonna go off in 5 minutes, so be 5 more minutes. I had a CD. It was back in the '90s, and I got turned on to him, just like I got turned on to Roy Hargrove. I used to listen to Roy Hargrove a lot. I love that Saint Topaz, and I used to listen to Russell Gunn. So I'm gonna tell you something. There's stuff I don't talk about because that's the nerd in me to musically. But there's a lot of stuff I used to listen to. Yep, they call him the Stanley Clark. Okay. I still think Whatever Happened to Baby Jane is a nice horror movie if you want to. That whole thing was crazy. Of course, I heard of Terrence Blanchard. You can't watch Spike Lee movies and not because he did all the scores. He used to do the soundtracks. In fact, that's what Denzel's character was trying to emulate the fingers when he did Mo Better Blues. Of course, I did. Again, we don't talk about musicians like that unless you want to, but I'm very familiar with his sound and his tone. I used to listen to them soundtracks all the time. He did the scores for Spike's movies. Very familiar with Terrence Blanchard. Hmm. But I don't have people to talk about that with because again, you know, it's like talking about Russell Gunn and like I said, and to an extent, Roy Hargrove. I still listen to those cats all the time. Hmm. It's a lot of stuff we don't get into. Didn't say you didn't, but it's just that the drop off is bad. No, because I can respect your knowledge, but Taylor Swift, Sabrina, and Gomez is horrible. They're not exactly. I mean, they make Debbie Gibson look like the second coming of Carole King. I'm just saying, Debbie Gibson was okay, but they're not that. They're Sabrina Carpenter is pitch off bad. She's like a broke Nancy Sinatra trying to emulate Britney Spears in her mama's clothes. It don't work. And Selena Gomez ain't making me forget about Selena. And Taylor Swift is just corny. Yep. I love that was a horror movie for me. That was scary. She's beautiful, but I'm talking about the talent. Lee Ritenour won. Come on now. Lee Ritenour. Just for Strawberry Letter 23 and this Is It You? Alex Bouillon, I liked his remake of Yearning for Your Love for the Gap Band. And Rick Braun, he's last. He's real loungy. He's he's just like what's that dude that was Dave Cos? That's what he reminded. That's that lounge. That's that Kenny G triple decker lounge. Okay. But Lee Ritenour, I was big on Ritenour. Love his tone. He did, and he sounded good on foreplay too. So, okay, well, this has been a great live show. I will be back. David Grusin, of course, because he did all the soundtracks. He did one of my favorites is for Falling in Love with Rob De Niro and Meryl Streep. Grusin had a distinctive sound. In fact, Quincy Jones rated his sound a lot. That whole GRP records, yeah, I'm up on Grusin, yo. Soundtracks. If you couldn't get Henry Mancini, you got Gruson to do your scores. I liked it at the time, but her stuff was pretty much, it was cute, catchy stuff. But what I'm saying is, compared to like Swift and Selena Gomez and Sabrina, she made Debbie Gibson looks like Carole King compared to that, like Bender Russell, Bob James, and a blowout over both. I like Norman Brown's guitar playing. Cyrus Chestnut's all right, but Bob James in a blowout. Come on now. You got all the backbeats in hip hop, Run DMC and everybody else, and Nas, Bob James is his grooves. That's no comparison. Norman Brown was cool, but Bob James in a blowout. I listen to a lot of stuff, but there's some stuff I'll never admit publicly for reasons that I just said. Especially when I know it's cookie cutter. And I'm a fan of different things, but I ain't seen no, I can't clap for whackness. I can't clap for whackness. Because it's not good. Taylor Swift ain't good. Sabrina Carpenter sucks. She sucks. Like she makes Katy Perry come off like Pat Benatar. I mean, it's horrible. Yeah. And it's just not good. There's a difference. Selena Gomez is a cute light act. Oh God. Cyndi Lauper won because she's a better songwriter than both those other two. Taylor Dane had a better voice. Okay. Taylor Dane had a good voice, but she didn't have no, she was a product of the time. Cyndi Lauper was a better songwriter. If Taylor Swift wrote songs like Cyndi Lauper, you would get me to say yes. What we doing? What we be doing? But let me tell you like this: if Taylor Swift had Taylor Dane's voice and she had Cyndi Lauper's pen game, then you got a strong case. You got a strong case. Yeah, it depends on what the context of we coming from. But we do stay on code. We be on keyboard stuff. I don't like to compare the two. But if I had to pick one, Duke Ellington was my first introduction to jazz, if you must know. And he's one of the greatest ever. However, I probably listen to more Miles Davis of the two. So, because Miles changed the course of music more. And he had in his bands, Duke Ellington was a standard, but Miles, what he did with his bands and his concepts. But I do like his dedication. Truly, he loved him madly. That's a great tribute. Yeah, because I don't care what he does from here on out. An OnlyFans chick cleaned his clock, and you don't come back from that. The guy didn't even start playing guitar till he was like 50. Amazingly, almost 50. And his tone, his phrasing, amazing. No, I think that as big as she is, it kind of died when Kanye West couldn't talk about her no more. Yeah, West Montgomery, I had the ruckus with him and Jimmy Smith. Those things was cooking. Okay. 2 more minutes and I'm gone. Yep. I just call it like how I hear it. And I'm not hating on nobody, Zachary, but I like Art Porter. I heard the name Zachary Porter, though, but I like Art Porter. He's a good vocal, got a good voice. Just needs the right song, that's all. A lot of these people that you mentioned just ain't got the right songs in their game. That's another thing that hurts them. It's about the songs. Because a lot of people getting over with what I call flimsy, flamsy stuff. And if they had the goods, then we could talk. Now, I'm not going to be tomorrow, but maybe Friday. Maybe Friday. But it'll be a little bit later if I'm on Friday, though. So keep your eyes on me because if I come on Friday, it'll be a little bit later. Because I'll be doing a later one on Friday. But I will be back. And I appreciate everybody that came through. Some good commentary, some faces again. Oh, early stuff is Kenny G before he got all watery and only got stuck with one note. He was nice. I do like to walk the Beasley. Peace out to you, man. Appreciate you always, KJ. Great list, great topics. Appreciate everybody that came through. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. Thanks you all for coming through. Appreciate the support. And I'm looking forward to seeing y'all. Take care now. Peace.